Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Schuyler Callihan here on Between the Ears of Mountaineers Now. And today we're going to dive into some of the loyalty side of West Virginia football. We'll get to that here in a minute. Again, make sure to hit that subscribe button here on YouTube at Mountaineers Now. All of our shows will be exclusively here on this channel moving forward. Give a like as well to our page and follow us on X at that same handle. We do a show here Monday through Friday every single week leading up until the offseason. We'll see what the offseason truly looks like for us. We haven't really detailed that. The offseason, I mean after the baseball season. So we should, in theory, stick around Monday through Friday, at least until the end of the baseball season. But back to football. Jaylen Anderson, Aubrey Burks, two guys that are on, I wouldn't say two different paths, but they've had two different journeys to this point and have come to the same decision: stay at WVU. This is something that in today's world you don't see a whole lot of for guys in their situations. Let's start off first with Aubrey Burks. Aubrey has been contacted or had been contacted by other schools, obviously illegally, over the last 2 years, more so from his the year going from his sophomore to junior year. He talked about it last week in his press conference and basically had an opportunity to go and get probably money elsewhere. And go play probably somewhere in the SEC or something like that. And 2 straight years now, he's given the old stiff arm to those schools. And to me, that says a lot about Aubrey. That says a lot about this program and that he trusts those running it. And I think it also shows that, hey, you don't have to go somewhere to get recognized. I've been saying this for years, and I just never thought we would see the day where somebody like Aubrey Burks at West Virginia would realize this, and that I don't have to go to the SEC to get eyeballs on me. I don't have to go to a blue bud to get eyes on me. If I'm making plays here and I'm getting recognition now, why feel the need to go elsewhere? He detailed that very, very well in his press conference, talking about how he didn't need to go and change things up because it would cost him some time in his development. You're talking about learning new teammates, learning a new playbook, learning a new environment. And I think that gets lost in a lot of these decisions. Like, how many guys over the years, since Neil Brown's been here, since the portal really kind of became a thing, have we seen guys leave the program and not have that same level of production that they had here at West Virginia? I mean, it's happened numerous times. And I think in some cases, you look at the kids that have transferred out, I'm not going to single anybody out, but there's been guys that have left, probably thought they were going to get a better situation elsewhere, and they didn't, and ended up having to take a step down. Where if they just stuck things out, they probably would have been okay. And that's where I get into the Jaylen Anderson side of things. Running back, Jaylen Anderson. Jaylen is in a completely different spot because he didn't have, or has not had, at least to this point, the level of production that Aubrey Burks has had that has warranted these other schools trying to basically poach him away. Jaylen has fought really for 2 years to try and get on the field and have a role. This past year looked like he was going to do that in non-conference play. He showed some signs. We get to conference play and things just hit a brick wall. He has the interception. If you remember the crazy play in the Houston game that really kind of turned the tides, at least at that point, where Garrett Green just hits him in stride going into the end zone. Ball bounces basically in and out of his hands and chest and into a Houston defender for an interception. The following week, he fumbles the pitch on the hook and ladder at UCF, and then that was it. That was the last time we saw Jaylen Anderson take a single offensive snap in the regular season. He didn't see the field again on offense until the bowl game. He went the entire month of November not playing on offense. And my whole mindset or my whole frame of thinking during that entire month of November, as the weeks went by and I continued to not see zero out there, I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, he's probably going to enter the portal. CJ kind of, I don't know that he necessarily took that big step that we all expected, but he kind of doubled down and said, yeah, he's a guy that can play at this position. Jaheim White exploded out of nowhere and showed that he's one of the most electrifying players in maybe all of college football. Why would Jaylen Anderson want to come back to this? And credit to him. Most guys in his situation would have bolted. But he said, you know what? I haven't done my best. I haven't put my best foot forward. This is basically coming from Jaylen through the mouth of Chad Scott, who talked to the media last week and said this is kind of the one-on-one conversation that we had at the end of the year. And he said, look, Jaylen was very transparent. He knew that he has not been at his best. He knew that he has not put himself in a position to be successful. So that's why he's choosing to stay, because he knows that if he gives himself that opportunity, he can run with it, literally and figuratively. Entering the portal is not going to solve any problems, at least for Jaylen Anderson. If you enter the portal, what is his market? Is he going to a group of 5? Is he going down to FCS? I don't know. I'm sure it's not going to be another Power 5 school. So why not at least through the spring, right? This is, in my opinion, this is a spring trial for Jaylen Anderson. I'm not saying that that's what it really is. I don't know that. But just my sense is this is a spring trial for him. If he puts his best foot forward, shows that he has some consistency in his game, and that he can be RB3, or at least push his way onto the field more to where he's, kind of somewhat splitting some reps with Jaheim White. I don't know that it'll ever get there, but you get what I'm saying. Then yeah, they'll keep him aboard and they'll want him to stay. But if he doesn't, then there's going to be a conversation probably at the end of spring ball and saying, hey, look, this is what's going to happen. Is this the situation that you still want to sign up for? But to his credit, through the offseason and the winter workouts and through the early portion of spring practice, he's done everything they've asked of him. And that is a major hat tip to Jaylen for sticking it out, just like Aubrey Burks did, but again, in a different situation. So here's my thinking on this. If these two kids stay, seems pretty safe to say that Aubrey will, but we'll see what happens with Jaylen. If these two guys stay and have success, it doesn't have to be all league caliber success, right? Maybe for Aubrey Burks, yes, but for Jaylen Anderson, it's just about getting on the field. There's starting to become a long line here of proof of if you just wait your turn, you're going to get what you deserve. Because it worked for Garrett Green, looks like it's going to work for Nico Marchiol. And if Jaylen Anderson can take that next step and get on the field more, be more of an asset to this offense, that's a success. He doesn't have to be RB1. That's not the expectation. That's probably not even his expectation realistically, internally, he always, I'm sure the competitor in him believes he is and can be RB1, but he knows first, I've just got to get on the field. I've just got to make an impact. I've got to make a couple of plays, take it day by day. And with CJ Donaldson very limited in spring practice, he's going to have those opportunities. But if you start to see those two guys have success in reasonable fashion, this is a really good thing for the program because it shows you don't have to leave in either of these situations, whether you feel bummed out because you're not getting playing time or maybe you lost out on some playing time, but hey, there's a chance you can get that playing time back if you come back and bounce back with a strong winter and a strong spring. You can position yourself to be back in the mix. You can recover yourself, so to speak. If you're a guy like Aubrey Burks who blossoms into an all Big 12 caliber player, you don't have to go to Auburn. You don't have to go to Ole Miss. You don't have to go to Florida or Georgia or Michigan. You ain't got to do that. If you put together a strong resume for yourself here, why uproot yourself, take yourself somewhere else where you have to relearn things, and essentially reprove yourself, not only to the team that you're playing for, but NFL scouts. You're really taking a chance on yourself by leaving. If these two have success, I'm telling you, it is going to be monumental for this program. Maybe not in the short term, but the long term, because you have these two things to draw back on. You can maybe, and especially now with a stronger NIL foundation, you have that backing to say, hey, look, we can take care of you the best we can. Trust in us, we'll develop you, and you'll get to where you want to be. And maybe, just maybe, we'll start to see a slight dip in percentage of guys like Aubrey Burks leaving the program. We'll see a slight dip in percentage of guys like Jaylen Anderson leaving the program. Hats off to Jaylen Anderson for sticking it out, giving it more of an opportunity here. And also to Aubrey Burks for thinking, hey, if I've done it here, why go elsewhere? That'll do it for me here today on Between Ears. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube page at Mountaineers Now. Give us a like and a follow on X at that same handle. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with another episode.